common theme of our podcast is investing in Cleveland real estate is not for the faint of heart. We have plenty of horror stories of people not knowing what they're getting into and having tens of thousands of dollars worth of mistakes to show for it when all they needed was one call to one company in Cleveland Heights. It's 2024 and we're back with more episodes giving you the heat check of the real estate market. We're here to give you the scoop on Airbnb and short-term rentals, all of this and more on the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast.
Investing in real estate can be full of pitfalls. Don't end up as another horror story on Mike Riley's Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast. Hi, I'm Mike Ferrante with Century 21 Homestar and the 21 Mike team, serving buyers and sellers all over the state of Ohio. We specialize in helping investors buy and sell real estate, so before you make another move, go to 21mike.com to schedule an appointment. The 21 Mike team, your one-stop shop for buying and selling.
Hi, everybody. This is Mike Riley back after a 3-month plus hiatus. A lot going on in my life. Nothing bad, knock on wood, but bought a new house. And Mike Ferrante, my partner, is off on new adventures. So we're getting caught up here. And we're back into the weekly grooves, so stay tuned. With me is the voice of Cleveland Real Estate Investor on the intro, Amarri Clancy. Amarri, how you doing?
Hey, Mike. I'm good. Just kind of settling into the afternoon here. Glad to be back on the podcast. It's been a while.
Well, get your good jazz music tuned up, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Amarri is the sound guy and background music for Cleveland Real Estate Investor. So, you got something new coming up, or for the new year, or are we going to use the same old, same old?
We can try some new stuff. That could be nice. There's some new energy in here.
Well, let's do it for next week. We got to get this one up. It's been a long time. I don't want any more. We'll go with the old one, but new music will be coming. New sound effects. Gong from the Gong Show. Stuff like that. So, all right, Amarri, fire away. We got a couple. We got 3 big questions we want to update everybody for. Go ahead, fire away.
Okay, so I think number one that people who are going to be listening to this podcast want to know that we do every month is, a temperature check. So, Mike, tell us, how is the real estate market in Cleveland as of right now?
Well, we would call it the heat check. Right now, it's not too warm outside. It's gray. It's 40 degrees. It's drizzling. I mean, it's as opposed to the last couple days when it was sunny and 70. I would say the market now, and we're going to have analytics coming from the legendary Fast Tony on this, but it is still a seller's market. It is not a buyer's market here, but it is not white hot like it was a year ago when you just throw a property up and it would be sold in an hour. And that was the effects of COVID and the shrinking of the market. Then you had the interest rates that came in, and that was last year. And there was a chilling effect a little bit when those interest rates started popping up. And what happened was people kept thinking interest rates were going to keep climbing, past 6-7%. And what happened was inflation cooled down and interest rates have not gone up. And now there's a promise of within 3, 4, 5 months, interest rates will drop down. Banks have told everybody, hey, we'll give you a free redo on the loan when the rates go down, just to tease people into taking a loan and going out and buying a property. Now, as you know, Amarri, because you've been working with Brooke, we put 2 of our higher end properties on the market, and what happened?
It's been an interesting experience, I would say, dealing with that. It's hard to kind of confine into a quick answer. There's been
Well,
a lot.
let me give you the edited answer. We put two of our higher end properties on the market, our Shelburne house and our South Woodland house. The Shelburne house was a $500,000. We bought that over a year ago, thinking it was going to be, higher end Airbnb short-term rental, and we did okay, but not like we thought we would. The South Woodland house which was in Shaker, we did really well. We got a 12-month plus fire damage relocation, and so I mean we killed it. But then they moved out, and I had a feeling now I don't know if we're going to get the same luck with the booking, so we put that on the market with the idea that we were going to reinvest that in some more properties. And we've identified a duplex in Shaker, and that's Will's place, that we are going to be 1031 that money into. Now, for those who don't know what a 1031 is, the money that you make on the sale, you put it into another property. You don't have to pay the capital gains. So, but let me cut to the chase here. The point is we put it on the market, and within one day we had 4 offers. So that's telling me that the house is looking good. It's nice and clean. It's in a good area. It's not in the hood. That we would get our price plus, which means we got into a bidding war on these properties, and we got 15% more than we had on asking, fast close, and it worked out really well. So what does that tell me? Now, full disclosure for everybody out there, Amarri does not own a house. He sits next to Brooke in the office looking at the screen. So you're kind of a fly in the wall, right?
Yeah, I bring a Gen Z kind of perspective to the table, which
Okay.
if you're reading the news out there, it's kind of the common thread in Gen Z is, owning
Okay.
a home is just something we're still learning about and trying to figure our way around.
Well, not only do you not own a home, you don't even own a car, right? It's
No,
DoorDash this and it's Uber that, right?
right.
Okay. So, anyways, we won't go too far into your life, Amari, but we'll explore the Gen Z thinking with a couple other Gen Zers who are
Yeah,
opinionated. That'll be fascinating.
yeah.
But the long story short, folks, if you're looking to buy investment property in Cleveland, it is still a seller's market. It is not a buyer's market. So if you're looking to invest in properties, I would be cautious. So that leads us to number 2, right? Number 2 question.
Okay, so Mike, what tips would you have for outside investors looking to buy property in Cleveland?
Okay, now, as you may know, we've got Andres in LA, who we've been talking with. Again, you've been a fly on the wall with Brooke.
Yep.
And we got Kush in the Bay Area. Number 1 rule, everybody out there outside of Cleveland, do not use a realtor to buy investment property. No way. Some of the investors that we're working with now who bought using a realtor, they overpaid on properties that need a ton of work. Now, do you think the realtor is going to tell you, hey, man, you need to put in 20, 30,000 to clean this up? We had one of our investors bought a house. In fact, this happened on 2 occasions the last 6 months where they were told, yeah, we got tenants, they're paying rent. Well, guess what? As soon as they closed and they found out that one of the tenants was 3 months late on their rent. Okay. And they had to evict her. And icing on the cake, she left the place an absolute disaster. on the second floor. I mean, I couldn't believe people live this way. We went over there to look at it, our new investor, and in LA, and they're looking at $10,000 in cleanup. The appliances were trashed. The garage is an absolute bomb of leaves, garbage. The backyard is strewn with garbage. So not only, and the basement has got a dead rat and it's filthy. The guy on the third floor is a total loser who's on a month to month. So he's got to go. Now, do you think the realtor told our investor this?
Absolutely
No,
not.
I don't think they did, because they want to sell the property. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're buying rental property, I strongly suggest you do a background check on the person who owns the property, because it's my understanding that the guy who sold it has about 50 of these ghetto-like properties in nice areas, and the city's not doing anything about it. And the realtor certainly isn't doing a background check on this guy. And so our investor is just going into a minefield, or maybe jumping into the deep end of a pool that has no water. Whatever analogies you want to come up with, it all starts with the realtor not doing the due diligence. I've been telling our client, Amarri, no names, I've been telling him, you should sue this guy on disclosures. So if you're going to buy investment property, make sure you have an ironclad form in that contract on disclosures, that if this person lies about the state of affairs, that they will be liable for attorney fees, and they'll be liable 1.5 times the damages that you incur. Something that's just going to be a lightning bolt on their rear end if you walk into a deal like that. So what do you do if you want to buy investment properties? Well, hey folks, this is a podcast designed to enhance our brand and get more business. Use us as a consultant. Please. It's $150 an hour. And trust me, it'll take us probably 1 hour to get you back on the road. And if you need us to look at other properties, do an inspection, et cetera, again, it's $150 an hour. That's probably going to be about 2 hours. So keep that in mind. If you're listening, just call Riley Painting and Contracting. Amarri will have the contact number, or Riley Properties, our other business. What would be the best way for them to get in touch, Amarri?
The best way would definitely be to go into riley-properties.com. You'll see our properties. You'll get a feel for the company. There's a contact form easily accessible right there on the website. And it just provides a bunch of simplified information about us, along with able to just getting in contact with us pretty easily. And then once you contact us, myself, Melanie, Mike, we all get the message, and we all follow up immediately just to get back to you and get some more information and just move the process forward.
Right. And this is not the first time I've seen some investor who may have owned other properties in other communities around the country. They go into Cleveland. It is definitely the wild, wild west here. So you really have to walk through a lot of glass to get to uncovering some gems. So we'll have a lot of information on our YouTube channel, and Amarri will have the links to the end of this podcast. Hey, let's stop here. We got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, and we'll be back. If you've been listening to this podcast, then you understand or should understand the pitfalls of investing in Cleveland real estate. Say you're looking for an investment property to rent, and these are the things that could happen and often do. You overpay for a house, and it's in the ghetto. Then you find that it's a money pit with endless surprise repairs. Your hapless property manager, who may be the brother-in-law of the realtor, gets a tenant who after 3 months stops paying the rent. Then the toilet explodes, and you have nobody to repair it because, guess what? The property manager is not answering the phone. Yep, that's the ugly side of the Cleveland real estate market. But we have a solution. Buy one of our properties. It's been inspected. It's been vetted. It's in a rock-solid part of town. It comes with a Gold Star tenant paying top dollar rent, and we manage it. Call us at 216-371-8160 if you're interested. Okay, number 3, Amarri.
Okay, so Mike, give us some insight about short-term rentals and Airbnb.
Okay, well, the word's out on short-term rentals, and let me give everybody some tips. First, Airbnb, a couple years ago, started flooding the zone. They want everybody to be a host with Airbnb. And the result is, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we owned the space in short-term rentals in the east side of Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, Shaker Heights, University Heights. We were the go-to, and we did well. Our investor did well. Well, now everybody's surfing at the beach we owned, and we're moving on to other places to surf. And as an investor who's looking maybe to develop an Airbnb presence, we know where to go. We have contacts, insurance companies, fire departments, fire relocations, Cleveland Clinic, we're on their portal. We've developed contacts that are well beyond the average Airbnb hosts. There is a lot that you have to line up for if you want to be an Airbnb host or short-term rental. You've got to have a good cleaning crew. You have to have a property manager that knows how to book Airbnb, and a lot of them don't. So it's a fast-moving train, short-term rentals. I suggest people simply start out with a conventional rental just to get your feet wet. And you can use a company like ours if you meet our criterion, who can help you navigate as either consulting or a property manager. So what's your thoughts, Amarri, from the Gen Z perspective? And I should mention you're one of the controllers of this company working with Brooke. Your general thoughts?
Yeah, my general thoughts is if I, was looking to buy an investment property, I wouldn't want to be buying an investment. I wouldn't want to be buying a headache, a bunch of future headaches for myself, just from the investment side of dealing with a property, maybe in a bad area, maybe with tenants already there that have just been, just destroying the property and things of that nature. So I think if it's one thing this podcast does, is it highlights how often that happens. You can go back and listen to episodes of us, speaking almost endlessly about this, just because the examples are nonstop of people getting into situations like that, which is why it's so valuable having, a company like Riley Kane and Riley Properties that can give you the actual real kind of transparent, just truth of investing here and what the real deal is. I would want that information if I was buying an investment property or if I was buying at all. Which, like you said, it's obvious the realtor is going to be biased and just getting that sale and not really giving you all the nightmarish details.
Yeah, I think, Amarri, one of the ironies of this podcast, which has been interesting, I'm looking at about 6 bottles of really good red wine. They're empty now because my wife and I have had those on a Friday night. I get people calling me. I tell them, just don't buy this property. It's a waste of time. I've only spent 15 minutes with them. I didn't spend a full hour. But I told them, okay, you owe me a bottle of wine. I just
Yeah.
saved your shirt here. So I want you to go to drizzly.com and I want you to send to the office a bottle of 8 Years in the Desert, which is one of my favorites by Oren Swift. So 8 Years in the Desert. But the thing is we end up saying more no than we do yes when people call us. That's how tough it is to crack the code in Cleveland. Now, if you want to be a slumlord and you want to be, get 10 houses and do it in volume, first of all, I don't even know how you're making money. And God help the poor property manager who has to deal with the domestic disputes, the cops getting called out. I mean, it's just a nightmare. The house is getting destroyed. And somehow, I don't know how these people are making money, but they seem to think if they get 100 houses, maybe they'll make $500 per house. And so that's how they make their money, as opposed to owning one house and making $5,000 per house net after, management fees and et cetera. But you know what? I don't know how these people are making money buying them in volume at 20,000 a piece and then dealing with the headaches. But again, our podcast is different. We're not about telling you that the streets are paved with gold here in Cleveland. There's a lot of glass on the street, as I said earlier. So you can make money. There's opportunities here, but you have to be nimble and sharp to make money in Cleveland. So,
and on the other end as well, as a person who has rented out one of these properties and lived at one of these units out of one of these duplexes, run by, a very similar kind of situation to what you're talking about, where, the company owned, like, it was just a lot of listings that I was looking for was just like owned by this person, managed by this person, managed by this person, they don't, I'm blowing up their phones about repairs needing to get done. My rent's paid, everything's paid, but it's just a nightmare even trying to get a repair person out. So it's just kind of a lose situation, for
yeah.
anyone
And I think among Gen Zs, what I've noticed is the word gets out that you don't want to rent from this guy or this company because their volume, service sucks. Go to this company. They got their shit together. And that's where we get a lot of contacts. Hey, just go on Google. Our Google reviews are very strong. I'm not saying, 100% are happy. I mean, there's 1 or 2 complaints. Yeah, these guys were this, these guys were that. But at the end of the day, we got to take care of the landlord and we got to take care of the tenant, which means I don't want to hear from the tenant that every month that, oh, something's happening that I can't pay my rent on time.
Right.
I don't want to hear that. We ain't your dad or your mom. So there's some tough love, but a lot of times they're just pre-screened. You see that right away. Look, you have a problem making your cable bill payment, you're not renting from us. So that's how we take care of the landlord. But on the other hand, we got to screen the landlord, you investors out there, and you got to make sure that when these people call, they want the toilet fixed. Toilet's getting fixed. Don't get your brother-in-law involved in this or get some fly-by-night guy. We need to get our plumber in there. We need to fix it. It's going to cost you. Now, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. We're not, the old-style Teamsters where every time we sneeze, we bill you. But on the other hand, it is everybody's got to win here. And when we're taking care of our tenant, we're not going to have any problems collecting the rent, and we're not going to have any problems with them taking care of the house. So there's a lot of good karma going out there, but you've gotta look at real estate as a very complex enterprise. Don't just say, yeah, I'm getting into real estate. Okay, whatever, you're getting into real estate. Why don't you get into garbage collecting? That's actually an easier way to make money, right? Be a
Right.
garbage collector. Yeah, get your pickup, drive around and pick up garbage. Believe me, you're in, you're out, the check's there, the money's there. You're probably going to make more money at the end of the year with one truck than you would with 10 shitty houses. So that's how we keep it real here. Are you getting too many headaches? Are you making money at the end of the day? Did you make money that year? Yes or no? That's what it's about. Final thoughts, Amarri?
Yeah, well, driving around picking up trash, it's not as sexy as, we're getting a real estate mogul, So
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
going to buy a dozen houses. Yeah, this is right. Okay, yeah. Here's some more crack. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it just feels good to be back on the podcast. Looking forward to getting some more episodes out there, getting our YouTube channel going, getting some more just eyes and awareness on what we do as a company, and yeah. So I'm just excited about that.
All right, we're back on track. Next week we've got some really interesting guests. The legendary Fast Tony from Fast Track Title. It's gonna Tales from the Crypt. He's gonna have some good stories, and you're gonna have to make sure on the audio we slow him down a little. Have to give him this guy talks very fast, which is why we call him Fast Tony. We're also going to talk to our VAs who are in the Philippines, Clarice, Melanie. They're going to share their stories. They've been working with us for a couple of years now. So if you contact our companies, one of those two will get back to you. So you can call at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, leave a message or send an email, and it's 1 o'clock over at the Philippines. So we'll share you how we're utilizing our VAs to do back office, rent collections, Venmo, the whole 9 yards of running your real estate in the 21st century. So that should be interesting. And Amarri's going to try out his new mic, right?
Yep.
All right, Amarri, wrap it up and we'll talk to you. It's great to be back, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Sounds good, Mike. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast with Mike Riley. Please add our show or follow us on Spotify, Overcast, Apple Podcast, or Spotify. Leave a like or comment on the video. All engagement is appreciated. Subscribe to us on YouTube as well for video content coming soon. For any Cleveland listeners or Cleveland Browns fans, you can check out our other podcast, Cleveland Browns Anonymous, for our weekly group therapy session. This is also on all the same platforms as the Cleveland Real Estate Investor.